people in Kiwanis are people who, in their hearts, own the community. And they make every effort to make it better. And so with that sort of heart, it's no wonder that the club has lasted a long time.
When you first make the decision to join, you can go to introduction breakfast that is given by one of our members, Bill Locke, and it's just amazing because you just wander through 30, 40, 50 years of projects and you see what this club has done for the Albuquerque community, and it's that's a very good introduction. But asking any active member, I mean, we're all very well informed as far as what this club does.
It's a place where you're welcomed as a friend, as a colleague, and it is a very comfortable thing to be a part of. And you can give as much back to the community and to the club as you have time for. We don't expect any minimum contributions of time or energy, but when you become involved, you want to become more involved because it's so much fun.
And I've had the opportunity to participate in some awesome projects that will last for a long, long time. And I also have a number of friends, new friends. A lot of them turned out to be very good friends.
A good friend of mine, he was a district judge, Ross Sanchez, and Ross and I, and he said, I'm going to get you into Kiwanis. I said, oh, well, can you tell me a little bit more about it? He said, well, it's a service club, and I love the words he used. It's the perfect marriage for you and the community. And can I use the expression, I've been hooked ever since.
And the people I've gotten to rub shoulders with have been people who actually care about where we live, care about other people in the community, are willing to roll up their sleeves and do physical work in order to provide a payoff for others.
If you went back through the history of Albuquerque and you took a look and reviewed what this club has done for the streets of Albuquerque, the parks of Albuquerque, the open spaces that surround Albuquerque, that's a lot. And you look at what we've done for young children, because that's an amazing thing in and of itself. Because our focus is on young children now. We get clothes for them, we get books for them, we tutor them as far as reading skills and stuff like that. It's a very hands-on type of organization, and that's what we do. So it's been easy to join it, to be a member of this club. It's easy to come here week after week and do the projects. So that's very important.
We've done quite a bit of work at Atlanta Gallegos. We've done a picnic shelter there that we originated in the early 90s. I actually helped put the roof on it and dig post holes for putting in the braces, and I think that is a good contributing part of our community. I hike there with my husband almost every day still, and those facilities are utilized by a lot of Albuquerque residents, and they enjoy the outdoors, and the Kiwanis Club was able to provide something to the community for that. Also, the nature blind there, the Kiwanis Club built.
The opportunity of giving back to the community, the community's been good to me, and I'm really pleased to be able to give back to the community through helping underprivileged people, building parks, doing things in our community that make it a better place in which to live. One of the principles that I found in Kiwanis that I have employed a lot in my other life is a concept that we call sweat equity. And many clubs organizations will give charitable contributions of a financial nature, and that's wonderful. But in addition to that, our club does things physically. We'll take kids to Kohl's to get them clothes for school coming up. We physically go with them. We make a difference in people's lives through our personal involvement in addition to the financial part of it. So I call that sweat equity, because when we look at a project and we say, oh look, I did something to make that a better place. I helped build a fence at the Natural History Museum. do those kinds of things that make this a better place in which to live. And it's fun to see us giving back, doing something physical. Maybe I push a pencil all week long, and I'm glad to do something, dig a hole for a project or whatever. It's a lot of fun.
I remember one time I was doing decorations for some event. My husband says, "What in the heck are you doing?" I was cutting out little, I didn't even remember what it was. Must have been paper that I was cutting out. And being a teacher, I'm used to doing things like that. So I told him, and he said, "Well, boy, oh boy, aren't you something?" He says, "They've got you doing everything." I says, "Hey, it's my way of giving back to the community and making," I love the expression, and maybe it's overused, but make it happen. We make it happen. We just don't talk. We persevere with our hands.
Well, I like to be hands-on. I can remember the projects that we worked on out at the zoo, working on the projects all over town at the Explorer Museum, and just working with some really nice people, giving something back to the community and the children in Albuquerque.
I think they survive for the simple reason that we do have projects. And of course, our main goal is children, priority one. And therefore, during the years, and when we used to do the balloon fiesta, it was a way of getting us all together and working together. And I can remember many times getting home at midnight after counting and sorting the money. So in other words, it's just been a part of my life.
And I was very fortunate. I'm a 40-year cancer survivor come August. So naturally, cancer was very close to my heart for obvious reasons. And I got us going on that Relay for Life. And I went to the president, I don't remember who it was at the time, and I says, "Could I start that?" And we served breakfast. And I'm going to tell you something out of school, but I think the American Cancer Society couldn't believe that I got this many volunteers to come out. Hey, it was easy. It was easy for me. These people were my support network, and they were there serving breakfast, and we were having fun, talking to the runners, walkers. That's where they stay up all night long. You're familiar with it, I can tell. But it was a great project. But as I say, a big outfit like ACS, and I think they were just a little bit green with envy, I'll use that expression, that I had so many volunteers.
I've been blessed to be a Kiwanian. When I was in high school, they gave a Kiwanis Athlete of the Year to my high school. I was not the athlete, but I still remember it. And I thought that was something. And we do things here for kids that most of the folks don't even know about. But we give scholarships. I work at Camp Kiwanis as part of the Southwest District Foundation, which maintains Camp Kiwanis, and it's a wonderful place for kids to go. We got dormitories for 200 kids, and there's always, when you get that on 150 acres, there's always something that needs to be done. But if you want to participate, that's another good thing you can do.
Another innovation that I started was getting toys. The nickname called me the toy lady. I don't care what they call me. But anyway, that was a very wonderful project. And what we did, the children of the Bernalillo County Detention Center inmates, sometimes these are neglected, forgotten kids. Hey, not their fault mom or daddy was, no good or whatever. I mean, but they must have that real big burden on their back. And these are forgotten kids. But we started a toy drive, and I'll tell you, I was overwhelmed. The magnificent, support that I got for this. And I went to a couple of their parties, and there's something to behold. The music is a little, shall I say, not my cup of tea, but it was wonderful seeing these, somebody got that stuffed bear. Somebody got that alligator. Somebody got this. And I know how people came to me. It was just magnificent. We make it happen. That would be my motto. And I've worked under a lot of different presidents, and I have enjoyed just about all of them because they all have their little way of contributing to society and so forth and so on.
Well, I was fortunate enough, I was president of this club for a year, and that inspired me even more. I'd been on the board of directors, and you kind of get involved with everything going on. I'd been a member of the club for a week, and I was told, hey, you're expected to be out at the balloon park as a volunteer. And the jolly bunch of folks, we were out there early in the morning, and I've worked 17 balloon fiestas and as a volunteer, and I'll be doing number 18 coming up.
I work for New Mexico State University Research Center, and it's pretty isolated, and I want to get involved with the community. And so my office is like 13, 14 miles north of Clovis, so I have to drive in for the meeting, but I enjoy meeting the community people and also doing the volunteer work.
And they come from a generation that is a commitment, a long-term commitment generation. They're givers. Often define people in two categories, either givers or takers. This generation of people who are committed to Kiwanis are givers. Time, their talent, their treasure, they give and give and give to this club. And whether we're yet big in number or small in number, the giving is, the outreach, the giving is great. It's enormous. And that impresses me, and I love to be a part of that. And so I enjoy the people and the commitment they have to what we do to serve our community.
You meet many community leaders, and you're doing the volunteer work for the community, as well as have wonderful speakers for the program. So these are the good reasons to camaraderie is very important.
Well, I plan on seeing a lot of years to come. You know, it's I don't know where all the things are going to go into the future. You know, if you want to make God laugh, try to tell him what you're going to do tomorrow. But I find that I think there's a great history in Kiwanis, and one of the things that Kiwanis did early on when they started in 1915 in Detroit was they started putting iodine in salt, which helps improve the mind of a growing child. Ironically, I lived in Detroit not 100 years ago, but one of the things I found fascinating was that there's huge salt mines under Detroit. And so that's kind of you can look back and find things that you can bring together that Kiwanis did and what we're going to continue to do.
Because this country has been good to me, and I want to give back doing something, and our volunteerism is a great asset of the Kiwanis Club too. So I want to volunteer to give back to the community.
I'm particularly drawn to what we do that literally touches the lives of people. Some of the examples are, we recognize police officers every month. We take those people on the front lines for us in our community, and we recognize them and we applaud them. I love the initiative that takes children to Kohl's department store. Kohl's partners with us. We take them to that store and they're able to purchase, and I mean, they're given a choice to choose items that we are donating, that Kohl's is donating, to help them in their lives. Whether it's clothing, whatever it is, to meet their basic needs.
I've served 2 times as I'm on the board of directors of this club, and one of the committee I chair is Young Children Priority 1, and that's a year that the international president started this Young Children Priority 1 project, and I think it's a wonderful project, and I enjoy that. Another project I did when I was chair of the Farm City Week. We used to farm this country, quite a few rural communities, and so they have a Farm City Week, and I invite many prominent agriculture leaders to come to give the talk to.
But the humility of this club is, I think, it's fine point. it doesn't boast. It comes in and it does what needs to be done. And about every 5 to 7 years, it changes its focus. Bob Stewart talked about working, one talked about Young Children Party one, that was Dave. And then there was a different, then it was Kids or Kiwanis, and then it was We Build. And every 5 years, they sort of changed their focus, but now, having just returned from Paris and their international convention, it's Kiwanis is going to begin to advertise, and they're going to promote themselves. They want the world to know that we are a working force that is here to build foundations. So we give the money to organizations to help them lift themselves up. So we can't necessarily come in and do the work for them, but we can be there to do what they need to do.
It's hard to get this generation, as one of Bill Locke said, to talk about themselves. And it's sort of frustrating for a guy. My dad was in that World War II generation. And in fact, that's another thing I'd bring up, is that when I first came to the club, it was in a much bigger hotel, a much more imposing setting. I didn't know anybody. And I looked around and I thought, there's some pretty cool people here. I don't know them. And so I waited for 2 years, and I just sort of picked up on the energy, and finally somebody asked me to do one specific job, and that forced me to meet everybody in a more urgent way. But I've taken away this one concept that I will be able to learn how to grow old with grace and with some class. And despite all the work that we all do and sort of get overwhelmed with, it always comes back to the great friendships I've made here.
One of the things I've been close to in the last few years has been our initiatives with the homeless and the street people of Albuquerque. It's one of the quieter parts of our organization. We don't clap our hands about it much, we just do it. And we go to those places, noonday, help serve meals. We go to Albuquerque Rescue Mission, help serve meals. We literally touch the lives of people who have enormous needs. The people who are just surviving in our community, in our society. And that's very fulfilling to see us reach out and touch them. There's so many other giving initiatives that I think, I love the camaraderie, I love the people, I love the community that we're in. But when I see us giving and giving and giving to our community, and you see the smiles on the faces of people, you see needs being met, that's what really, really winds my watch.
I wanted to do something that was very good for the community, and this club met those needs. They're focus on children and that sort of thing, and there's so many activities that so many things they've done around the city. Up on the top of the mountain there, you got now the Kiwanis Cabin, it's called, and Kiwanis Meadows, and then we down the Conquistador on the horses. You come into the old town, on and on. The projects that we've done in this club have been just great.
Well, you talk about the projects. I've worked on every project they've ever done, and they do a major 3 projects every year. So I will say, in the amount of time I've been here, it's been hundreds. And you do them. You do them because they're fun, and because your friends are there. And you know, everything is about social. If there weren't a social aspect to Kiwanis, people wouldn't be here. So you can say that we're doing wonderful things for the community, but you got to feel it back inside, and you got to like who you're sitting next to. You know, they're good people.
Very proud of what we do in our community, along with all the other service organizations in our community. You put all that together, and we would not have an Albuquerque, the one we love, the one we serve, the one we live in, if we didn't have these service organizations like Kiwanis Club of Albuquerque.
I think the magic behind 100 years is the people again, and the projects that we do, and the charities that we raise money for. One of the things that makes Kiwanis unique is that we go out and we actually raise the money. So take the balloon fiesta. We go and we work there, volunteer hours and time. We get paid to do that, but the club gets paid to do that, and then we take that money, 100% of it, we turn it right around and give it to the community. And so it's a win-win for the city of Albuquerque and for the children primarily of this community.
If you have a caring group of people who are trying to produce an Albuquerque that is a good place for people to live, and they're working on it every day, you can produce some good results.
I think very effective when you think about what we were able to accomplish, and we take a relatively small amount of money and we'll take it and we'll turn it in with all the volunteer hours and turn it into some great projects and some great opportunities for people in the neighborhood, or in the country, and the city.
You know what? What has changed? It seems more difficult to find people that are community-minded, that want to go ahead and invest the time to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go out and do the balloon fiesta or do this and that. There just doesn't seem to be as large a pool out there of people that you can draw on. And it's not just us, it's every service group. They're all going through the same issues as far as membership are concerned. So that aspect is changing a little bit. The commitment of the people that are members of the club, that has not changed.
Well, I think the main thing is that we should encourage the young people in the community to become active in a club like this. We should also take in consideration there are a lot of young people who can't afford to do this, and therefore employers should manage to assist in some ways.
I think the beautiful thing is the friendship I make, the fellowship, and we also doing things together for the children, young children, people, and also for the community, less fortunate people in our community.
You see people who want to be involved. You see people who are willing to get involved and to do things. And so all you got to do is ask. If you ask them, they'll say, "Yeah, I can do that." And it's amazing what you're able to do when you get volunteerism going like that.
I would just say, if you want to join, if you want to be a good citizen, if you want to have a lot of impact on community efforts, Kiwanis is the place to be.
Well, I hope I've done some good.